Welcome viewers to Heats 6 and 7 of the Club Championship here at Manly 16-foot Skiff Club in our 100th year celebration. We have a wild little southerly on our hands, very overcast, gloomy, 18 degrees thereabouts, probably just into 30 knots. Joining me in commentary today is a good mate, Paul McKenzie, Sausage. How are you, brother?
I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Very good, thank you. It's a day that we would have liked back in our day, right?
Yeah, we're built for these conditions, Jimmy.
We are absolutely built for these conditions, mate. You are dead set right. It's Heats 6 and 7 of the clubbies. We've got a fair bit to get through as far as informing all the viewers bits and pieces with the Nationals coming up, which we're also covering. It's probably, what do you want to do? You want to jump straight into the results? What do you think?
I'm easy either way.
All right, well, let's have a look at the results for the Club Championship so far. And in the lead is Moon and Yachts, Ruffy Turner, with Red Pumps Red second, Tyler Dransfield, Typhoon Craig Nichols, it says here on the score sheet, but he hasn't started one, so that's Nathan Wilmot. So nipping at their heels is Sail Racing and Botany Access, then Red Pumps, the main boat. So that sort of rounds out the top six for the 16-foot skiffs, and I'll ask you for your picks for the Nationals in a minute, but we'll have a look at the 13-foot results, and it's very tight at the top with Ebix Gemma Hopkins. She's sailing really well this year. She's
improving every race, as we can see in the results, and really putting herself at the front of the fleet now.
And then Taylor Spriggett on 6 points just behind them. Then Duchess Amy Bentley in third. Probably out of the 13s, one to keep an eye on, now that they've figured out how to sail the boat, will be the Botany Scaffold girls of Sophie Hart and Bella Devola. But these conditions today out here, Paulie, we're on the assumption that not going to see the 13s out here today, unfortunately.
No, I don't think we will. Just because it's so fresh that, it's going to be a bit of carnage, and we've just got to make sure safety is a priority, I believe.
Yeah, and there's a fair swell running as well, so it's enough to get the knees knocking on some of the more inexperienced crews. As I alluded to, we're hosting Manly is hosting the Nationals from the 7th to the 14th of January. The viewers can watch live on Sail Media TV on YouTube, or Manly 16's TV on YouTube, and likewise on Facebook, Sail Media or Manly 16's. So leading into it, and you can't pick Moonen because who's your top pick?
I think the Typhoon with Nathan Wilmot, Malcolm Page, and I believe they've got the Big Rooster on there again.
Yep, Big Rooster will be back.
I think they're going to be tough to beat.
Yep.
We saw them put in a lot of effort last year. I think once they get Brett Davis back on board, they'll really slot in and be able to sort of work their way through the fleet and see. They'll be right up the pointy end, and they'll definitely be there.
Yep.
The other one that I think I believe he's not entered yet. However, it's Red Pumps Red with Tyler Dransfield, especially if we get some light conditions. He's been the form boat in those conditions today.
And if you remember Heat 1 of the clubby, Paulie, they're the only boat not to capsize, Red Pumps Red. So, they're showing some good form. They've just come off winning the state titles, so congratulations, Tyler, Chris and Jackson.
Pretty good for your first year at it, isn't it?
Yeah, put the cue in the rack. I think probably the top three picks for me, for Manly, would be Typhoon, Moonen, Yachts, and Imey, who is going to have Dave Gilmore on the...
So he's on with Trent and Rob, is he there, like they did last year?
Yep.
And, I think they went pretty close last year. And Dave's, with a bit more experience, in sailing these boats, we'd expect him to get even closer to the front.
Well, he'd love these conditions in the that we're seeing right now, right, Paulie?
Yeah, with Trent and Rob on the boat, they're such good hands. All you've got to do is sort of point it in the right direction with those two, and they'll keep you around the thing, and he can use his brains to sort of work a few people over.
And for my like, from some contenders from other clubs, SKE Electrical from Belmont, Scott Babbage.
Yep.
can't write off Skelcon, the Makins, all three.
Yep.
They've been there, they've done it before.
Yeah, they cleaned up down in Illawarra about 4 or 5 years ago, I believe.
Don't remind me. G'day, boys. And the other one would be, you can't go past Noakes with Davey O'Connor, Big Mac, and the Bridge.
Just super consistent, those guys, you know.
Yeah.
It's that Bryden's team, but it's now the Noakes, and they're just so consistent, you know. If you do beat them, it's quite an achievement in itself.
And they're one of the nicest boats to beat because Mackie always gives you a beer after. So.
Yeah, and then he shakes your hand.
Yeah, breaks your hand. So
you can't sail the next day.
And then, you know, one of the other dark horses I quite like in general is Sail Racing, Felix Gretsch and the boys. Like, if they get their right conditions for these nationals, they are going to be very hard to beat. Is my thought. The rest of them, you know, will be in there or thereabouts. You'll have some guys which will have shining lights. Like, you know, there's no Insight Building hasn't entered. From Belmont, you haven't got Red Pumps Red, as you alluded to earlier. They haven't entered as yet. So, you know, there's a few there that we know are good enough.
Yeah.
But we're just, you know, it's just going to be one of those things. We've got also, you know, I think we've got 7 female skippers competing in the Nationals. And off the back of that, Paulie, last week, in club history, 3 female skippers, first, second, third. So first time in 100 years history at this club has that been achieved. And it's pretty cool because I know a lot of effort's going into Ladies' Day for the Nationals. And that's, you know, just sort of really highlights something special again in the club.
Well, I think it's pretty impressive to have that mmany girls out here to start off with. I think it pays testament to the systems that have been put in place with the 13s and junior sailing and all of the 16-foot skiff clubs to really encourage them to come through. Especially, you know, some of these girls are now getting a chance on some of these top boats with the top guys. And it really just inspires them and gets them back out on the water.
Yeah, no, it was like Chits and I were out here taking photos last week, and we sort of said as they came around the top mark, wouldn't it be pretty cool if the 3 girls went on to get first, second, third, and it happened. Wasn't set up, but you know, like the girls that we do have coming to the Nationals so far in the 16s, we've got Bethany Sherry from Belmont on the Konami. We've got Matilda Lang from Drummoyne sailing the Addenda. Sorry if I got that wrong. I'll get that right by the Nationals. Jess Isles from Manly, our Vice Commodore on the Capital Brewing. Georgia Clancy sailing with her sister Alana. Is Alana coming good? You in touch with that?
I'm not sure. I haven't spoken to Alana this week. I know she had COVID there for a little bit, but I'm sure she'll be back. Right,
so they're sailing the Outback Marine. And then I know on the that has freshened up big time out there, Paul.
Yeah.
And I know after her stellar performance last week, I think our Commodore has decided to do a Craig Nichols and hand the boat over to young Zoe Dransfield to steer the Southerly, is the rumour going around the club last night.
Yeah.
So that'll be really good for her. Then you got Amy Hargrave from Middle Harbour Skiff Club sailing No Sense, which was the old brand Sense. And the I guess the class matriarch Marilyn Sorensen rounds out the 7 there on the trusty old Shed Real Estate, which is great.
Yeah.
It's there's Employment Hero just getting a bearaway done.
It's as we've got on the screen at the moment, these conditions are getting a little bit hairy. There's a lot of chop out here, so it's really, if we do get this race started, because as Jimmy alluded to, it's just getting fresher and fresher. The boat handling is going to be key here. If you can keep the boat upright, I'm picking you're going to win the race.
Well, I don't think anyone, Typhoon, just to the left of screen, they saved it. But yeah, there's you're going to be hearing plenty of that today, unfortunately, guys. But there's, who is it, Moonan was on screen and just coming around to Typhoon there, just uncharacteristic. They got young Flynn Toomey on board. With Mal and Nathan. So Bretto's still not well. I believe you dodged a phone call last night, Paulie. Is that...
Mal was pretty insistent that he wanted me to jump on. I think my size might have been a bit of a benefit for them today.
How many laps do you reckon you would have done? And did he tell you it was sprint races?
He didn't tell me it was sprint races.
So that could have been a killer. But yeah, no, it's like, you know, when you got one of the top boats that we've just been pumping air in their tyres for the Nationals, and they're having a swim, you know what it's going to be like for everyone else.
Yeah.
A fair swell to throw into the mix. But, you know, fingers crossed this race committee, they've got the boat down. But no pin loaders yet. We're just hiding up under Reef Beach in the relatively calm waters under here, but it is fresh to frightening out there, that's for sure.
When we came round from Middle Harbour, there's some big rollers coming through the centre of the heads. So we'd expect if they do get this away that we're going to have sort of an inside course running up towards Flagstaff. Where you do get a little bit of relief in this little bay that we're currently sitting off Reef Beach, and then over on the other side near Quarantine. So, you know, they can get a course in here, which would be ideal, and it would just be this section going between Kilburn Towers and Reef Beach that there could be, you're sort of going to cop the full brunt of the weather through there.
Biton.com area.
Bit on.
But, like that is freshened at 28, 30 knots out there.
Yeah.
As you can see, the Typhoon goose winging downhill on the screen there. So, Paulie, for the Nationals, the committee's been working pretty hard for that. They put quite a little social event together, as well as the racing. What they've done, the Manly Club has put all of the previous national champions in a hat and drawn them out. So each race will be named after a previous national champion boat.
So race 6, Jimmy, which one's that one?
Race 6, good old fire stopping race, mate. So it's quite nice. Like they've, and I think the fitting touch is Matana has got race 1, being the first boat to win a Nationals for our club. Back in 1976 they won. So, it's...
and then
I only remember that because that was the year I was born. So it's a bit of cheating. But, so, you know, like we got Buckle Toyota and Manta, which is Manta Marine, which was obviously Trev,
with the great man Baz on board.
Yep. Baz rang the camera cat about a minute before we went live, just saying they're not sailing, are they? And I said yes, and he goes, I've been at work since 5, so g'day, Baz. Then you got ASEA, Otis, Fluid Building, hopefully then a reserve day on the Wednesday. Then on the Thursday, the fire stopping, as you alluded to.
Yeah.
Then Friday would be the Bryden's Compensation Lawyers, Manly Surf and Slide. And race 9 will be Sutec Musto Racing and Ronston to finish it off. But as I said, they've got quite a social calendar planned for the event. We're going to be live streaming every day throughout the event, and you can watch that, as we said, on YouTube or Facebook. They're going to have a live site there at Manly 16-foot Skiff Club in the function room out on the deck when they haven't got functions associated with the social events for the Nationals. It will be out on the deck as well and throughout the club. We encourage people to come on down, join in the festivities of the club and the environment and the Regatta Live site, which would be a pretty cool thing to do.
And with the events that they're setting up, you know, they're going to have a nice welcome barbecue, and then the Juniors Day, where they're going to get all the juniors down from Manly and visiting clubs and have a fun day with activities, and just sort of bring those younger people from all the clubs to come down and really experience the skiffs and see what's happening.
And the one that all the ladies are excited about and a lot of effort has gone into is Ladies' Day. So Tuesday, the 10th of January is Ladies' Day. They've take place, and it will be hosted by Olympic sailor and sail GP commentator Lisa Darmanin in the club. Earlier in the day, there will be a meet and greet for the junior girls to meet skiff women and international female sailors that have come through the skiff ranks, which is gold. But you can just see Ruffy there, that puff that just hit them. They are running out of runway in there.
When you start seeing Ruffy and Gus, they've got Harry Hall on today on the Musto. On the Moonan, sorry, because Matty Stenner I just had a chat to. He's about 6 schooners deep at a wedding. But when you see them start to struggle in these kind of conditions, you know you've got a lot on.
Absolutely a lot on.
You can even see it in Gus's face there. He's shitting his pants.
Ruffy's just indicating that it's not worth it. So it is, look at that for a view of Manly Cove. It's pretty fruity, but yeah, so for the Ladies' Day, mate, there will also be a high-class nautical-themed ladies' lunch at the club from 12:30 to 5. Tickets are on sale for $80. Includes food, drinks and live entertainment. So get online and book and get down there for that, because I know Chrissy Williams and Sally Darmana have put a lot of effort into it to make it an amazing event, and you know, it'd be good for everyone to get there and get involved.
And I think on the Manly, all the details for it on the Facebook page, I believe. There's a little post on it already up.
Yep.
So get in early, because these things normally sell out pretty quick.
Yep.
I know my wife, even though I'm not sailing, I think is coming down to do it, just to catch back up with some of the ladies that she got to hang out with a bit more when I was still sailing.
Yeah. And then the next bigger, well, then you got the golf club event on the 12th. So it's the Manly Skiff Club Golf Club team. And so that'll get relatively messy.
Yep.
And then the day of total mess will be Friday the 13th, is Old Buffers Day, where I think anyone that's ever touched a 16-foot skiff is just about coming.
Yeah.
So that'll be a great day down there, great time to catch up with all your mates. And then obviously on the last night, the Saturday night, Polly, they got the club presentation, sorry, not the club presentation, the Nationals presentation, and where, you know, we'll celebrate the newly crowned champions in not just overall, but yeah, like, look at the carnage out there. There's the fires stopping. There's a fireball.
I would be very surprised at this stage if, unless we see it drop off a little bit. It just seems to have kicked even harder out here at the moment.
I think Ruffy was the smartest one out of the lot. Like this, you probably count the amount of boats afloat at the moment on one hand. It's almost to the point of unsaleable for a 16-foot skiff in this sort of conditions, but we will wait and see.
It's you know, when the start boat first came out, we had about, what, 23 to 25?
Yeah.
And now looking up wind by self, I'd say we're getting up to that 28 to 30.
Oh, easy.
And with this there's sort of a bit of a, we got the big rolling swell coming through, but there's also this little sharp, short chop, which is actually the hardest part of it, because you just can't really settle yourself down. Here we go. See, there we go, the young Sutek boys just laying it over in a very interesting manner. Doesn't look like at this stage there's any flags up on the start boat to let us know what's happening, because we should have been due for a start.
Well, 2:30 is the advertised start time, and it's 2:30. They don't have a pin down, and there is barely a boat afloat. So there's the two boats struggling at the moment.
So I'm not... When we hear from the start boat about anything, we'll let you guys know straight away. But you can just see at the moment, everybody who's out here is really just trying to...
They got flags up now, I think, Paulie. I'll just radio and check.
They're just trying to sit there. So there on screen, we've got a lovely wide drone shot of, I believe it's the Imey heading up into a washaway, and now we're on the red pumps. The red pumps look like they're in the death zone, and this could be an interesting manoeuvre coming up.
Okay, Paulie, I just spoke to the starter. It has just got too windy, and that is going to be it for the day for racing. Unfortunately, viewers, we're sorry for that. But obviously, safety and boat preservation is key. As you can see, the mighty Manly ferry, I think that's the freshwater, which is celebrating 40 years in service this weekend. So, testament to the ferries.
They're sort of the only ones that can handle these conditions out here at the moment, aren't they?
Oh, mate, look, you and I would just be going here, rub our hands together. We got this.
Mate, I wouldn't have left the beach. I'd be in the sinking schooners already.
This is almost reminiscent of those that were up in Brisbane that year on the last race when it was hell on high water. It was one of the most fruitiest days I've ever sailed.
I was up there, but we decided that day to stay on the beach and not really hurt ourselves. I think I was only about 20 at that stage.
Yep.
But I got to go out there and watch, Jimmy go around, as well as Lee. Lee was probably with the Habolski back then, wasn't he?
Yeah, the great Habolski.
And, that was, I think it was sort of get to the jibe point, drop a shoot, tack, and see if you can make it to the bottom mark.
We led around the first top mark there, and we had a chase boat was in front of us, and we got caught in its wake, and we couldn't jibe. Like, it was literally like death. Like, so it was
short, sharp chop.
Yep, it was horrible. But that's the joys of Moreton Bay, and this is the joys of Sydney Harbour. And so what else do the people need to know at home regarding nationals and so forth? I don't think there's too much. It's on from the 7th to the 14th is the important part to remember. Get in touch with the club, get your tickets early if you want to go to any of those events, the ticketed events, because once they do sell out, unfortunately, that's all that the club can take in those areas. It's good to see we've got boats coming from Manly, Middle Harbour, Belmont, St George, Drummoyne, and we've got one interstate boat coming. The
Nice.
RW is coming from with, what's his name? The little young bloke, Carlton Smith steering it. So that'll be good. But it's, have a go at the carnage there, would you? It's just everywhere.
This is so still out in the water in front of us now. I mean, I can only count 6 sails, but I think there's still about 12 boats out here.
Yep. But
the one boat that we might get a bit of action on the way in is the Imey's going right up the top, and we know that Trent and Rob like to send it.
yeah,
So, let's see if they can scare Baz in a brand new boat. I think there's 2 boats as we look up forward. We've got someone fully turtled, right, just going behind the ferry now. Actually, I think it's Capital Brewing over there, is it? On the Capital Brewing over on the far side.
one of those 2 boats in shot. Be Imey, uncharacteristic, but I think they got Sarah on board steering today.
Yeah.
So,
But she's jumped. She I think she sailed the States with them as well. Pulled off a few really good results.
yeah, let's. She's been doing a bit like you, Paulie, screening phone calls.
I think
So- that is Imey that was in the tide there.
I think she gets a few more phone calls than I do.
Yep.
I mean, she's very, very talented, and she's quite small, which is what you want. You want a little jockey on the back of these things so you can get some fat blokes on the wire.
Yep.
So there in the water there, I believe, is the Fireball. They're just starting to pull it up there.
There's a wobbly old fire stopping with. Who have they got? Timmy Lake, I think, filling in today. Lockie's off on I think, getting his nails done or something.
It seems to be away quite a bit.
And there goes the fire stopping. Goodbye.
Oh, looks like they lost someone overboard just before they went down.
Nice trap hook in the side, thanks, boys. Teach you how to fill it.
So the Capital Brewing here is the one who's actually making this look the easiest. We're sort of going to say that so we do get a bit of carnage on the way in, hopefully.
You only cross fingers, mate. Like, I just hope everyone makes it home safe and not too many breakages before the nationals. So there's the Fireball up and rolling without trap lines on one tack. It's not going to make life easy.
That's going to be a real difficult one.
Here's the Southerly with, I think, Zoe steering it again today, I believe. I haven't been given... They got a reef in their main there, Polly.
Ooh, nice.
Yep, there's Zoe giving us a wave. She's day in paradise for Zoe. So
That's is that Tim Lees and Polehead on that with her?
Polehead, whose birthday it is today, 1 year shy of the big 5-0, the Polehead.
So we're just sort of seeing everybody now, just starting to sort of... There's still a few boats milling around down near the start line, however, looks like the flags are up telling everybody to go home.
And there's the Southerly gone in the shadows and then put it in the tide.
Yeah.
So it's
It's a bit of swimming practice today for everybody, I think.
It's the last thing you want to be doing today. Water temps dropping, 18, 19 degrees in the water. Just obviously, we've got this big front that's come through over the last couple of days, Paulie, and you've got a big high and a big low sitting there and they're not moving.
Yep.
So we're just stuck in the funnel of it all.
Did you get a briefing from Bucko this morning, mate?
I actually looked back over one of Bucko's BS weather forecasts and went, no worries, I'll have a go at it. So, but no, I had actually looked myself.
It's good. Because it's been fresh down in Sydney for the last 3 days, hasn't it? We've had these pumping southerlies come through.
Fresh is an understatement.
Yeah. And out on the harbour, we've got a few of the boats getting ready for the Sydney to Hobart out there. So there's been some good action of watching them around cruising around at the moment.
We've got a few of our guys doing it. We've got Katut on Comanche.
Yeah, Matty Stenner on Comanche. I'm not sure how many others are doing it.
Is Jared doing it?
I'm sure Jared is.
I know there was some talk of him potentially jumping on Moneypenny, but Katut's probably on the race favourite there for Hobart.
Yep.
We will be covering the start, not through SAR Media, but through Channel 7. We'll be assisting them for the start, and then we'll be down in Hobart to film the finish for CYCA. If you're looking for a bit of sailing fix, we'll be CYA TV. And, so we'll be doing that, and then back here to prep for the Nationals, where we're fully pumped. I think it's an understatement. But, I think other than not much else there really to talk about, no racing to go on with, Paulie. I think, we might just wrap it up there, and we wish everyone here from SAR Media, wish everyone a safe and happy Christmas and New Year.
Yeah.
And we look forward to you tuning in back when we're live on the 7th.
7th of January.
For the invitation race. And thanks, Paulie, again for coming along and helping out. I know it was I think that was the one day that you had plentyofdust.com or something that emailed to me. So
I did have my work Christmas party yesterday.
Yep, so do appreciate you coming along.
No, it's always fun. It's good coming out here with you guys, and I really enjoy it.
And just thanks to Chits and Sam, and then the other Sam from Cross Shore Media that's out here from England at the moment helping us out, and John O'Witty from Aero Media come and help us out today with the drone. Very testing conditions for the drone, so it's good when you get to call upon, if Dylan or Piers ain't here, I get to call on Jono, so it's a very handy backup. So thanks, guys, and everyone have a great Christmas and a good New Year, and we'll see you when we're back. Don't forget the Nationals. Whatever you do, don't forget to book.